Tonight on the South Today, a truck caused a bit of a stink in Christchurch after it crashed on a tight hill bend. A new exhibition at Te Hura in the Otago Museum has space enthusiasts reaching for the stars. And Dragon Boat cruise with a difference take to Christchurch's Avon River. Kia ora, good evening, I'm Hannah Wilkins. A major clean-up operation was needed in Christchurch earlier this afternoon after a truck crashed while trying to navigate a tight hill bend. And while the large truck blocking the road caused enough disruption, it was the contents of the vehicle that made things worse.
A very smelly problem in South Christchurch this afternoon after a Portaloo waste collection truck crashed on a bend, causing a massive stink. The truck overturned at the top of this hill in the suburb of Craycroft, sending human waste streaming down the road. 2 fire appliances from the Island and Wigram stations attended the crash shortly after 1:30 p.m. on Tuesday. The driver wasn't trapped in the crash and managed to escape the cab, but they were treated by ambulance staff at the scene. Worsleys Road was closed to all traffic for a few hours, while fire crews secured the scene and waited for a tow truck to remove the vehicle. In Christchurch, the South Today.
A coroner's hearing has confirmed that Dunedin plumber Rory Nairn died as a result of receiving the COVID-19 vaccine. Coroner Sue Johnson found the man died of the rare heart condition myocarditis due to the Pfizer vaccine he received 12 days before his death. 26-year-old Rory Nairn died in November last year at the home he shared with his fiancée Ashley Wilson. His death sparked a 3-day coronial inquest which began last month in Dunedin. Coroner Sue Johnson felt it was important to make her initial decision public as soon as she established Nairn's cause of death. However, she still has to consider the circumstances around it and any possible recommendations. The inquiry heard Mr Nairn hadn't been warned of the risks of myocarditis by the pharmacist where he received the vaccination. Launching a rocket, building a satellite and exploring the solar system were all on offer this week for Dunedin school students. They were taking part in Otago Museum's newest Out of This World exhibition, exploring where in the universe it might take them.
Powering up their rockets and preparing for liftoff. These George Street Normal school students are exploring different aspects of the universe as part of the Te Hura Tuarangi Aotearoa in Space workshop. The interactive exhibition features a range of activities, from students flying a space shuttle in virtual reality through to building satellites.
Kids are trying to build right now and see if they can work out what they're going to do. If they can launch a satellite into space, what science they're going to do with that.
The students even getting the chance to see some space junk. This titanium tank from the Russian Cosmos 482 space probe crashed onto a North Otago farm in 1972.
And this is the very first group of children from George Street Normal School that are celebrating with us as we open this showcase.
The exhibition's having a soft launch ahead of next month's school holidays, with the Otago Museum planning to hold a range of space-based activities. In Dunedin, the South Today.
Gore homeowners can expect their house values to skyrocket according to new rating valuations. The average residential property in Gore is now worth more than $400,000. That's double the value compared to 3 years ago. Quotable Value NZ supplied the new ratings to the Gore District Council with more than 6,800 properties affected by the increase. Gore homeowners will receive an updated notice of their property's value in the post this week. The late Queen Elizabeth II's Platinum Jubilee was the theme of the day at an event in Gore over the weekend. Around 500 people joined in the celebrations on Sunday at the Hokanui Pioneer Village and Museum's Heritage Day.
Timely celebrations in Gore to honour Queen Elizabeth II's Platinum Jubilee. A large crowd flocked to the Hokanui Pioneer Village and Museum on Sunday for a host of very English activities. Museum Secretary Nancy Stronach says the Queen's recent passing made the day a very poignant occasion.
Although we had planned it way early on, today is just a real remembrance day to celebrate her life. Over the years she's done so much for all us. She's been here in New Zealand over 10 times.
Elizabeth was crowned in June 1953 and was Queen of Great Britain and the Commonwealth until she died at Balmoral in Scotland on the 8th of September. The Gore Women's Club actually hosted Queen Elizabeth back in 1954, with Sunday's luncheon menu recreated in the late monarch's honour.
A really special remembrance for Queen Elizabeth II, for many Gore people in New Zealand and worldwide.
Children's book character Paddington Bear also featured. The Queen had acted in a skit during Jubilee celebrations where she pretended to have tea with the famous bear. Other groups taking part in the day included the Gore Vintage Car Club and Southland Shafts and Wheels, who brought a pair of Clydesdale horses and a covered wagon to entertain guests. In Gore, the South Today.
A boating team with a difference have been getting out on Christchurch's Avon River. The crew was made up of a group of cancer survivors and their supporters and made a big impression on the public.
Dragon boating is a sport that's growing globally at a phenomenal rate. It's apparently one of the biggest and fastest growing sports for women, and interestingly, for women who are survivors of breast cancer.
Yeah, this is really interesting because initially breast cancer survivors were told not to do any exercise post-surgery, but this was completely disproven about 25 years ago, and it's actually been the opposite.
To promote the sport in Christchurch, two groups of female paddlers joined forces to host an open day. A club for survivors of breast cancer called Abreast of Life joined with support group Amazon Hearts for the event, which offered women the chance to have a go at paddling a dragon boat.
People look at it and think, oh, you're only using your shoulders, but if you're doing it properly, you're working your thighs, your abs, your upper arms, your whole body, and it's incredibly good for the mind because being on the water is so calming and so tranquil.
I just love paddling. I love teamwork, and it's a sport I can do, and it keeps me fit, it keeps me strong, and that's the main thing.
The clubs are looking to grow their members, along with adding more boating teams to boost competition. Amazon Hearts wants to develop an under-23 crew, a prostate cancer crew and a mixed crew featuring both men and women. In Christchurch, the South Today.
Whai Yakane still to come on the South Today. After 3 years on ice, a party celebrating the beginning of spring blooms once again, and a home advantage pays off for a Gore sports team over the weekend.
All new episodes of Put Some Colour in Your Life are now screening on Channel 39. Take a look at Australian artists and the techniques they use in their studio. Put Some Colour in Your Life, Tuesdays, 7:30.
A poorly maintained heat pump can lose up to 35% of its output. The Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner team are experts. Their specially developed chemical wash is totally biodegradable. Call Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner and get the job done by the professionals.
Shall I make some scones?
Tēnā koe, welcome back. After a 3-year hiatus, the Hanami Cherry Blossom viewing party at the Otago University has been blooming again. Crowds welcomed in the spring season on Friday in front of the clock tower, appreciating the natural beauty of the sakura, or cherry blossom tree. It's the 11th year the event has been run, with the last 3 years cancelled due to COVID-19. The party celebrates the arrival of spring, which is a significant time of the year in Japan.
Spring is a symbol of hope. Because in Japan, schools start in April, which is spring, and fiscal years in companies, even governments, everything starts in April, which is spring in Japan. So it's a symbol of a fresh start.
Viewers of the party were treated to some traditional Japanese music and drums, as well as some sushi, although sake was off the menu. The sakura blossom will be in full bloom for another few weeks before they wilt. Competitors from as far away as North Otago ventured south to Gore at the weekend for a tournament, but having home court advantage really paid off for the locals.
Young players shooting for the stars. A dozen basketball teams from around the southern region converged on Gore for the area's under-13 tournament. And despite tough regional competition, the host town's A and B teams both placed in the top 4.
Yeah, no, the girls have really come a long way. They had one other tournament before they came here in Dunedin, so they have had a few games under their belt. But at this age group, they tend to get, develop quite quickly and get a hang of things. So it was really good, and there's been huge improvements. So it's been really good.
The event was organised by the Eastern Basketball Association. Local coach Erin Howes describing her Eastern girls as amazing. She's proud of their achievements at the weekend, but also knows the educational value of competitions like this.
Yeah, it's a big weekend for the girls. The girls are only sort of 11 and 12 years old. Some of them will be 13, but most of them are just still very young. So it's a really good opportunity for them to get on the court and do a whole lot of learning as well, because they don't often get to do that at some of the bigger tournaments.
She says the standard of play was excellent, and not just from the local teams, with the travelling players also bringing their A game. The Eastern A team will now get to play in Basketball New Zealand's Under-13 regional tournament, due to be held in Ashburton next month. In Gore, the South Today.
And now recapping tonight's top stories on the South Today. A Portaloo waste truck caused a bit of a stink in Christchurch after crashing on a tight hill bend. The new exhibition at Te Hura in the Otago Museum has young space enthusiasts reaching for the stars as they learn about the heavens. And Dragon Boat crews with a difference have taken to Christchurch's Avon River, with cancer survivors and supporters making waves. And now a look at what's happening in tomorrow's ODT, and we welcome the Associate Editor, Joe Simpson. Kia ora, Joe.
Kia ora.
What can we expect in your paper tomorrow?
Waterhouse talks of reduced numbers of beds for the Dunedin Hospital.
Okay.
The driver who caused the death of Sarah Shirley after his four-wheel drive was swept away trying to cross flooded street, Silver Stream, has been charged. And if you see a panda and a sloth walking hand in hand along State Highway 1 between Christchurch and Dunedin, do not pick them up.
Okay, I can see there's more to that story.
There is.
Thanks for sharing, Joe.
Thank you.
And time now for a look at the weather.
The South Today weather, proudly brought to you by MolMap, the skin cancer detection specialists.
Looking at the situation, clearing weather across the region tomorrow as southerly airflow dies out, leaving cold air behind, but sunshine too. Heading to the top of the South Island, thunderstorms and wind up in Nelson tomorrow with a high of 16. Greymouth can expect 15 with southeasterlies and showers, while down in Christchurch, light southerlies and showers to go with the 12-degree high. Travelling to South Canterbury and North Otago now, and it's 11s all around through here. Starting up top, Ashburton's in for southerlies and showers, while Timaru and Iwamaru can expect light southeasterlies during a mostly cloudy day tomorrow. Westwards now to the Central Lakes, becoming fine with light winds through here, 13 for Wanaka and Alexandra, with Queenstown getting up to 12 degrees. Heading further south, another fine day through here with light winds and highs of 13 for Balclutha, Gore and the Catlins. Now down to the deep south. Fine tonight in Invercargill with a low of 7. Wednesday and Thursday look mostly fine too, with scattered light cloud and southwesterlies with cool temperatures, highs of 13 or 14 degrees. And lastly, heading to Dunedin. Showers clearing tonight with cool winds down to 7. Cloudy tomorrow with southerly winds and sunny spots in the afternoon, the high 11 degrees. And into Thursday, fine with sun and cloud throughout the day with late northeasterlies and a high of 13 degrees. And that's the news this Tuesday. For the latest news and videos from the southern region, head online to odt.co.nz. And you can follow Channel 39 on YouTube to catch our news bulletins on demand. We'll see you again tomorrow. Ka kite pōpō.
Public interest journalism funded through New Zealand On Air.